Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Gopi Girivaradari Asodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. The real daily news that we should be consuming. Canto 5, Chapter 8, and we'll do 24 and 25. Apisvidasa Bhagavan Udapatir Enamigapati Bayanmita Mataramega Balakam Swashrama Parprastam Anukampaya Sala Paripati. Word for word. Can it be Asal, that, Bhagavan, most powerful, Udupati, the moon, Enam, this, Megapati Payat, because of fear of the lion, Mrita Mataram, who lost its mother, Mriga Balakam, the son of the deer. Oh, that must be where Mrigari comes from, because it looks deer is Mriga, so Mrigari, Ari is the killer of, so killer of a deer. Okay. So Rastam, who strayed from its ashrama, Anukampaya, out of compassion, Kripana Janavatsala, the moon, who is very kind to the unhappy men. Um, I remember one time I was at the Miami temple, and one older devotee, he was looking at this guy very intensely and with folded palms, and he could tell I was a little confused about what he was doing. And he said he was praying to the moon to be able to control his mind. So it's interesting because here, yeah, we see the moon is being referred to as being very kind to unhappy men. Adipati now is protecting it. Okay. Translation. Maharaj Bharat continued to speak like a madman. Seeing above his head the dark marks on the rising moon, which resembled a deer, he said, "Can it be that the moon, who is so kind to an unhappy man, might also be kind on my deer, knowing that it has strayed from home and has become motherless? This moon has given the deer shelter near itself just to protect it from the fearful attacks of the lion." There's no purport, so I'll go to the next verse. I'll just read the translation. Okay, so text 25. After perceiving the moonshine, Maharaj Bharat continued speaking like a crazy person. He said, "The deer's son was so submissive and dear to me that due to its separation, I'm feeling separation from my own son. Due to the burning fever of this separation, I'm suffering as if inflamed by a forest fire. My heart, which is of the land, is now burning. Seeing me so distressed, the moon is certainly splashing its shining nectar upon me. As a friend throws water on another friend who has a high fever. In this way, the moon is bringing me happiness." Purport. According to Ayurvedic treatment, it is said that if one has a high fever, someone should splash him with water after gargling this water. In this way, the fever subsides. Although Bharat Maharaj was very aggrieved due to the separation of his so-called son, the deer, he thought the moon was splashing gargled water on him from its mouth, and that this water would subdue his high fever, which was raised. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Tadapti Swarantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapad Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagajatan Sahaganath Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakambitam Sa Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome again to everyone to today's class. Last time here, of course, we've been hearing for the past however long we've been hearing for. And we're seeing here, yeah, it's just very, very powerful lessons and a very powerful example of how this attachment can lead to innocent attachment can lead to such a kind of odd circumstance that even a highly qualified king is now looking up into the moon and saying so many things like, yeah, like we just heard. Hare Krishna. Good morning. So we're on this Leela of Bharat Maharaj. So Bharat Maharaj, he's like, yeah, just completely. In this section now. He's saying all these prayers to the. He's like praising he's praising the earth, saying, you know, how fortunate you are to have this deer on you, and now he's looking up into the moon, and he's perceiving that these spots on the moon are somehow this deer, like the deer would get up there, and so he's saying, "Oh moon, you're so kind. You've given shelter to this kind deer," and he's anyway. So you can see he's just completely uh, lost the plot, as sometimes said. So yeah. So the thing I wanted to speak about today was principles to kind of um, this idea of attachment, bewilderment, delusion, uh, pretty much, yeah, this irrational thinking. You guys ever think irrationally? Okay. Um, okay. So yeah. So as we know, as the story, Ed, you probably haven't heard this pastime of the the king and the deer, right? You heard it, yeah. yeah, yeah, it's quite a common. So we see, yeah, this king is there, and then just this simple gesture of, oh wow, this mother deer gave birth to this deer, this little baby deer, and now who will take care of this deer? Um, let me just make sure the deer is okay. So yeah, in this material world, things often start off very innocently like that, right? Often, often when people they take on some addiction or something, it starts off very small, right? Oh yeah, I'll just do one once, just once, just to try it out. Or okay, yeah, I won't get too into it. I'll just, on occasion when I'm with friends like that. I won't be like I'm not gonna be like these people who get super into these whatever drugs or alcohol like that. So right, that's the nature of this. That's how things kind of start in this world, right? Starts off very, very small. So I heard one example of how Maya works is, yeah, how Maya's like a robber, and you just in your basement, maybe you just leave your window cracked a little bit, yeah, maybe just a little fresh air in there. But just that one crack, yeah, that's all Maya needs, just to stick their finger in there, whatever, and open the window, steals everything. Um, so so in the Bhagavad Gita, there's this explanation of the very scientific process of how this all works. Okay. So first it starts off, the verse is, while contemplating the objects of the senses, the person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops, and um, so you got to see, yeah, just first it just starts with that contemplation, then lust, or sorry, then attachment, then from attachment, one one becomes like overly kind of enveloped with like strong feelings towards it. And uh, then what often happens is that, yeah, we're often mm, we're often dissatisfied in our attachment, right? Like how often in this world do we get something and we're like, for a long period of time, we're just like, oh, this is just the best thing ever. This is like, say we get I don't know, like uh, some like cool car or something, right? And we think like, oh, this car is gonna just solve all my problems, right? And then we have this car, and yeah, we can see just over time, it's kind of like, oh, okay, so yeah, yeah, and um, sometimes one even gets angry um, because of being let down by this car. Oh, car, why didn't you fill all my desires? What's wrong with you? The car dealership said you would. Now you're not. Okay, so that's anger. And from anger, complete delusion arises. From delusion, bewilderment of memory, bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again. Um, so we can see this, yeah, this is like this gradual uh, progression of becoming a madman. Yeah. From sane to mad in 40 days, whatever. Um, so yeah, this is so this is, this is what we're seeing. This is what's happening to this king, right? He becomes a little attached, and then now he's just like completely out of it because he developed such a strong attachment to this deer. Now this deer is gone, and now he's like speaking to the moon as if the moon is for this deer. So he's gone. Yeah, he's gone a little cuckoo. Um, so how do we stop this? Well, for, I mean, first of all, yeah, I mean, Bhagavad Gita is so nice because it gives us these tools, right? Like now we know, okay, yeah, these attachments can start very small. So best to, yeah, avoid getting attached to these things. Like I remember one time when I was just getting trained as a my I guess my bhakta training. Um, I was telling one devotee, I was saying, oh yeah, yeah, there's this almond dressing that I had one time because we were on traveling Sankirtan. I said there's this almond dressing that I had one time. It was so nice, you know. Do you think we can order it? Yeah, I came to find out, you know, who this almond dressing came from? So yeah, it's like a powder mix, you know. So I just had this powder mix, and yeah, when I was with some devotees before, I had this to it, and now when I was with this brahmachari who was training me up, I was like, yeah, can we get this powder mix? It's so nice. And he was telling me, he's like, well, yeah, I mean, we can if you really need, but generally it's best to not get attached to these things. Um, yeah. So this is, yeah, this is an important point is that overly be careful, kind of, yeah, be careful what you kind of get enamored by, careful what you get attached to. Because a very simple thing can kind of, a very simple attachment can escalate. Um, so in the Bhagavad Gita, it's said, um, see, because what generally happens, yeah, we become attached to something. Like you heard this term, these illusions of grandeur, right? We start thinking in our head, oh my God, I'm gonna do, I'm like such a great person. Like I remember this story somewhere with this. There was this one brahmachari traveling around, and then he told the devotees, guys, I have to leave. I think my goal in life, and I think how I'm gonna help spread Krishna consciousness is I'm gonna beat Mike Tyson in a boxing match. And so, but but he had been like contemplating on this thing for so long that it was no escaping it, you know. It was locked in there. Key was thrown away. He was set. I'm gonna beat Mike Tyson in a boxing match, and I don't know, chant Hare Krishna before my last punch, and then everyone will hear them. I don't know what he was thinking, but anyways, it wasn't a very good thought, right? Just living the simple monk life, Mike Tyson, simple brahmachari. Yeah, I don't- this is a true story. Yeah, it's a true story. Most of this, 80% of the stories I tell will be true today. No, no, most hopefully most things will be true. Um, So this is the thing, right? Is like we can see in our own lives, we just get these ideas, right? And then they just like get bigger and bigger in our head. God, yeah, I have to do this. I have to do this. This is such a good idea. And so that takes us to another principle of Bhagavad Gita. This famous verse, Tad vihi panipatema pariprasnena sevaya upadikshanti te jnanas jnanina tattvadarshanaha. That one should approach a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, render service unto him, and they, yeah, they can give knowledge to you because they've seen the truth. So what this devotee should have done is said, guys, I just started kind of thinking that I could, take out Mike Tyson in a boxing match. What do you guys think? In other words, yeah, approaching a guru or approaching devotees that we trust that are a little further down the path than we are, um, and saying like, yeah, do you think I could, what do you think? Think I could take out Mike Tyson? I know I'm a little, I know I have a lifting a few boxes of books, but what do you guys think? And they'll probably tell you, yeah, yeah, they'll probably, yeah. I mean, after they laugh for about 30 minutes, I'll probably say, well, Prabhu, yeah, maybe not, maybe just chill, maybe, maybe, maybe you don't have to go on Sankirtan today. Maybe just take it easy, eat some halva, listen to some Krishna book. Um, yeah. So like this. So generally, if by approaching the devotees, one can be free from these, and best to do it soon because that's the thing. Like I heard, one Maharaj was saying that this is how ideas work. It's like energy. It's like yeah, uh, somehow yeah. And it's like the more energy you give to something, to a thought, it'll just grow, 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 grow. So better just get it. As soon as you start having these thoughts, approach the devotee. Thing. Like think if Bharat Maharaj, if he had some friends out there in the forest and he was like, what do you guys think? You know, when I chant japa, I have one eye open looking at the deer, and I'm not doing any of my rituals anymore because the deer. His friends would have been like, "Yo, man, no, this is not cool. Let the deer go wild. They'll probably have a better time than being with you, anyways." So yeah, approaching the devotees like that. This is very important. And because what'll happen is the thing is that the energy that I was talking about, at some point, that energy will be so big that no one will be able to stop it. It's like a boulder going down a hill. You know, you can try to stop that boulder, but that boulder's on a mission. Nothing's going to be able to stop it. Your guru, your best friend, the government, whatever. As soon as you have this thought that grows too much, it's very hard to stop. Um, so that takes us to another uh, principle of the Gita, and that is that um, yeah, generally different attachments they come out by the modes of nature, by the particular. So we know, yeah, there's three modes of nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? So, and these things just pervade everything we do is dictated by these three modes. Um, how you wake up in the morning, you know, I'm sure, I'm sure even maybe is there, I'm sure even different, like there's probably even different yoga practices, right? In the different modes of nature. Maybe. What's a really intense yoga? Oh, okay. I'll give you an example. Because I love Nitai Chand Prabhu, and because we had a little time with him yesterday, um, he was teaching these yoga classes here. He was like, devotees, I'm a yoga teacher. And devotees were like, oh, great yoga teacher, right on. You should teach us some yoga. And Demai was actually there. Remember Nita Chand's yoga? Hare Krishna. So luckily I signed up too late for the yoga class, so or luckily or unluckily, I don't know. I wasn't able to take part, but it was in the it's in the winter, and we have that wood stove in the dining hall, and so first of all, the wood stove was just like I don't know how he got that place so hot because that dining hall was just like completely, yeah, like you would say hatha yoga is 100 degrees. It must have been even the hatha yogis I think would be like this is a little too much. So it's super. I just go in there after the morning program. It's just super hot, and then he had them. I don't remember the first poses he had them doing, but it was like, come on, guys, you can do it. You can feel the pain. And then the next thing was the headstand on the wall, and and it was like yeah. So there was the wall, and there was a few of them, and they were gonna do the headstand like in this small portion. And I think no, actually, I think first he wanted them to not use the wall, and then they were like, "Guru, we never done this before." I said, "Okay, if we use the wall." And so he's like, "Okay." So he just lined them up against the wall, and they were just very close to each other. Anyways, I don't think they ended up like doing the wall because it seemed like they probably all would have just like knocked each other over anyways. Um, but yeah. So this was an intense form. This is I would call. I'm not a yoga expert. I don't know all the categories of yoga, but I would say this was a pretty pretty passionate yoga session. So, anyways, point I'm making is if you want to sign up today, you can sign up. We're taking classes. No, but yeah. So everything we do, generally, it's influenced by some mode of nature. And um, yeah, we're just getting tossed according to these modes of nature. Like we actually we have very little control. It's like how often do we make a plan, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Tomorrow I'm gonna start this. New Year's, I'm gonna start this new resolution. But then what happens in January 2nd? Then we're like, oh man, yeah, I don't know. Apparently things didn't work out so well. It's because our certain mode of nature arises, and yeah, it's very hard to change. Um, so yeah, so coming to the kind of panacea, the cure for all this is surrender to Krishna. Okay, thank you very much for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class. We're gonna end there. No, yeah. So and sounds very easy, of course, but yeah, it's not so easy. But and okay, so this is what Prabhupada said in this purport about attachment. Then he's saying like, okay, the cure is just surrender. And so when I was reading it, I was like, okay, just surrender. All right, sounds good, but what is that all about? So it's very nicely described. Let me just pull it up here. Um, Chapter 15, also known as the Yoga of the Supreme Person, and verse 3 and 4. Okay, okay, okay. So I'm going to read this. I think it makes sense in this context. I hope. Um, just let's So Prabhupada's saying the word asanga is very important in this connection because the attachment for sense enjoyment and lording it over the material nature is very strong. So yeah, asanga means detachment. Um, so the point that's being made in the Gita is that you're in delusion, you think you're something you're not, you're living this kind of like you're living in the from it is asanga. Yeah. Ooh, my friend. Asanga. That's all you need. Asanga. Okay. It's like those mantras you get, right? You pay for some mantra and they give you like one word. Asanga. Okay. So asanga means detachment. So Prabhupada's saying, one must learn detachment by discussion of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures. Yeah. That's nice, right? So how do we get this detachment? Discussions of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures, not based on what's this one I heard about? The Secret. Did you guys watch The Secret? Yeah. The Secret? Like about manifestors. Yeah. I don't think see that's not yeah, that's not gonna get you detached from the material conception. Um huh? Exactly. Yeah, you think like, oh yeah, I can get anything I want. Yeah. Manifest your attachments. Okay. The association of devotees, one comes sorry. As a result of such discussion in the association of devotees, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the first thing one must do is surrender unto him. Uh, to gain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has only to surrender. And this is a result of performing devotional service by hearing, chanting, etc. He is the cause of the extension of the material world. This has already been explained by the Lord himself. I am the origin of everything. Therefore, to get out of the entanglement of this strong banyan tree of material life, one must surrender to Krishna. As soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically from this. Boom, there you go. As soon, yeah. I guess this is all I had to actually say. As soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically from this material extension. Okay. So now the question might be, okay, what is this? What is this surrender? And please don't ask. Yeah, if someone were to ask me this question, I would, uh, I don't know what I would say, but it probably wouldn't be a very good response. But it's nice because in the next purport, this is how Prabhupada starts the purport. The surrendering process is okay. So I should probably read the verse then. Okay. So the next verse. This is what Prabhupada's saying is the surrendering process. You guys ready? Okay. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and dread, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. Okay. Any thoughts on that? Okay. It's okay. Prabhupada will elaborate because I'm also thinking like I'm also yeah. I don't think after hearing that I'm ready to just throw up the white flag. But here we go. Prabhupada's gonna explain a little, elaborate. The first qualification is that one should not be deluded. Okay. Because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself, it is very difficult for him to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know by cultivation real knowledge that he is not Lord of material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord. When one is free from delusion caused by pride, he can begin the process of surrender. Hmm. Any thoughts so far? Can you say something?
Yeah, right. You're some policeman over there,
Mm.
acquiring something, so
Mm.
I don't know if one has a capable body, not for the body, or like
Thank you very much.
or praise, feeling like that sense of like
Mm.
I mean, I guess that what pride is
Mm. Mm.
makes sense of
Higher
higher position.
decision, yeah.
So
Mm.
yeah, the Prophet says it's all illusion. Why why are we hide? Why are we
Mm.
cultivating also uh proper humility, the importance of humility,
Mm.
just for recognizing and also recognizing a superior nature, a superior being, that you're so
There you go.
striking like
Mm.
gaze into my
Mm.
I
Mm.
why do I need any
Mm.
advice, violence.
Mm.
I can do so much.
Mm. Um,
You know,
by the way, you're giving a Bhagavatam class tomorrow. Yeah, very nice. Very nicely said. No, maybe you're on, maybe you're not. I think actually someone's scheduled tomorrow. But no, very nice. Huh? Mm. No, very, yeah, that's a nice point. Um, Okay, so okay, we can get um all this attachment, yeah, can be finished if we surrender unto Krishna, right? And Prabhupada saying the first qualification is being free from pride. And I mean, I guess surrender, yeah, it, it's pretty good. For, like, uh, that's what Prabhupada's pretty much indicating is that, okay, Krishna, I throw up my white flag. I, you know, I depend on you alone. Oh my God. Can't believe I just quoted a John V. Harrison song. But yeah, yeah, I depend on, you know that one? Hare Krishna. Okay. It's a good one, right? Is that Gajen? I don't know. Anyways, I like that one. Yeah.
yeah,
Gajendra, okay. Just quoted in Srimad Bhagavatam class, John V. Harrison. Yeah, so the white flag is like, okay, Krishna, I yeah, I only depend on you. Um, but how can we do that if we're thinking, yeah, I'm so great by my own, prowess, I can do so many things. Yeah, it's not possible. So so are we good on the pride? We got the pride. Why pride is not good now for surrendering to Krishna? Prabhupada says, uh, true eloquence is concepts put very concisely. How does he say it? True eloquence. It's okay. Anyways, that was very eloquently put. Ed, thank you. Yeah, you give Bhagavatam class on Wednesday. Okay, so moving on here. For one who is always expecting some honor in this material world, it is not possible to surrender unto the Supreme Person. Pride is due to illusion, for although one comes here, stays for a brief time, and then goes away, he has the foolish notion that he is the Lord of the world. He thus, yeah, it's a nice one. Huh? The one in power, huh? Yeah. He thus makes all things complicated, and he is always in trouble. Oh. The whole world moves under this impression. People are considering the land, this earth, to belong to human society, and they have divided the land under the false impression that they are the proprietors. One has to get out of this false notion that the human society is the proprietor of this world. When one is free from such false, he becomes free from the false association. Well, this is getting deep. That's like a little too early for this, but anyways, we'll go for it. Here we go. When one, when one is free from such a false notion, the false notion being that, yeah, that this land, this earth, they belong to human society. So when one is free from this false notion, he becomes free from all the false associations caused by familial, social, and national affections. These faulty associations bind one to this material world. After this is heavy. This is real heavy, you know? I hope you didn't have I hope you weren't hoping to hold on to your material attachments before coming in here and Papa speak. Um, so how is it? So by yeah, by not being under this conception that this is my land, that humans are then one yeah, one familial social attachments. Why is it? Why yeah, why? Guess like I guess it's just a whole picture, right? It's like, okay, one thinks that, yeah, it's all this false conception of I, mine, like this is this is my land, even though you just got here. Um, like this piece of land has millions of years, whatever, yeah, billions of years, and now for like a little fragment, you happen to just like put a few posts in the ground there, and now you're thinking, yeah, this is my land.
This is working forward. In how I think
Mm, mm,
what can be, yeah, that can be that, but that happiness.
mm,
With Gaia that already already identified with the results
mm,
were
mm,
attached to that.
mm,
That's the problem.
mm. Yeah, like, mm, mm,
How we in general like already attached to the
mm,
results of life.
mm, mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. I see how see this kid. I raised this kid, all because of me. It's like, what did you actually do? You just had some sense gratification, popped the kid out, and now you're thinking it's all because of you. That yeah, you're even thinking like I created this kid. Oh, what did you do? What did you actually really do? So, hmm, okay, let's see how Prabhupada ends this. Ed, what do you think so far? What do you think about that? Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Nice. That was the right answer. You get breakfast this morning. No, you get breakfast if you agree or if you don't agree. Okay. And okay. So now you kind of have some understanding that these things are false. Now, yeah, now one should cultivate knowledge of what is actually his own and what is actually not his own. And when one has an understanding of things as they are, he becomes free from all dual conceptions such as happiness and distress, pleasure and pain. He becomes full in knowledge. Then it is possible for him to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yeah, what is actually ours? Be his own, and what is actually not his own. So what is our own and what is not our own? Just our soul. Yeah, man. Mm. Nothing is actually our own. Mm. Nothing is actually our own. Um, so how does that help us surrender then? Like if I favorite shirts, by the way, or one of Krishna's favorite shirts, sorry. One of my favorite Krishna shirts. Okay. All right. So if I don't think this is my shirt, how does that help me surrender? Mhm. Any thoughts? Mm. Uh, sorry, my hearing is getting really bad. No, no, no. You're saying very helpful things because I don't really know distance from the yogis of afar. Um, okay, Jessica.
So how does he know that like this shirt is not mine?
Hmm. Yeah, how does that like aid in the surrendering process?
Um, yes, things like things, seeing things given unto us
Mm.
as tools for service.
Mm.
We do. I mean, we are unique, an individual, our personality, and this, and we are like the soul. We're acting through this filter of the body, but we may have like more than another thing, and point is that as long as we're not like if as long as we're not so attached to this one thing, this one shirt, and then if that shirt is not available, wasn't available, you just wanted to give the class and then you want to give the class because you
I wasn't gonna. I wouldn't have given class. Yeah, I wouldn't have.
then that would have been, that's
So,
like mad attachment.
that's a little too much, huh? Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, everyone, for attending on Zoom, in person, in the universe, wherever you're listening from. Thank you very much. Granta Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. Ayataya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Jai.
Kasi iwan ko sa nakita niya gawin ko yung much even with that how she wants to be around with me. Mas ano siya? Kaya Krishna, kapag pinakama ko na hindi yung teacher, hero ng teacher, babalawin yung pagkaroon sa hindi ba yung teacher.
The Holy Spirit of our spiritual master, the only way man to obtain pure devotional feelings. Bow down to the Lord of faith, great awe and reverence. By his grace, cross and she to suffer, obtain and his soul. My only wish is to have my conscience purified and made things to us and all this love. Death, as goes, infection, that filled all and love. Open my darkened eyes, and your heart, friends. Is my Lord very up and very making stop and indignant pleasure said this for thanks to the our spiritual ocean friend of the fallen Lord ashes of devotees. The most serious and which comes to us is the sharing of the lady. Your famous is all the feeling of this sharing of this. The best way to start the day. The volume I would say that. No other way to start the day. Thank you all very much for attending today's second half of the morning program.